In today's video, we're exploring a pressing issue for travelers: the growing list of countries where tourists may no longer feel welcome. From Venezuela's struggling hospitality sector to the ongoing conflict in Syria, we're diving into the reasons that have led to increased caution and concern for those looking to visit these destinations. We'll also discuss geopolitical tensions, security warnings, and the local conditions that might make these countries less appealing to tourists. Join us as we uncover the realities behind these 8 nations and their shifting landscapes for travelers. 1. Venezuela. A deteriorating hospitality sector. Venezuela's tourism sector has sharply declined over the past decade, with a dramatic 75% drop in international arrivals since 2015, according to the United Nations World Tourism Organization, UNWTO, 2024 report. Only 500,000 tourists visited the country in 2023, a number that underscores the severity of its hospitality crisis. The country's infrastructure is now in a state of collapse, making even basic travel logistics risky and unreliable for visitors. High visa fees and new government-imposed regulations have made it difficult for foreigners to access popular sites, including Angel Falls and Los Roques. Power outages, unreliable water supply, and shortages of basic goods further diminish the appeal for international travelers. In recent years, neighboring countries like Colombia and Brazil have absorbed much of the tourist flow previously destined for Venezuela. The sense of uncertainty and concern for personal safety has led travel agencies to remove Venezuela from their offerings, and international airlines have cut routes, isolating the country further from the global tourism market. 2. Afghanistan. Security concerns and travel warnings. Afghanistan remains one of the world's most inaccessible and dangerous destinations for tourists as of 2025. The U.S. State Department's Level 4, Do Not Travel, advisory, reaffirmed in early 2024, urges foreign nationals to avoid the country due to extreme risk. In 2024, travel industry reports indicate that only a few hundred foreigners entered Afghanistan, most being humanitarian workers or journalists rather than leisure travelers. The Taliban's return to power has led to new and unpredictable restrictions, further discouraging tourism. Public freedoms are highly restricted, and foreign visitors are subject to constant government surveillance and checkpoints. Basic services, such as reliable transportation and healthcare, are severely lacking, making even short stays precarious. Kidnappings and attacks on foreigners, though rare, remain a real possibility, contributing to the widespread fear that keeps tourists away. 3. North Korea. Strict regulations and limited access. North Korea's already tight grip on tourism has tightened even further in 2024 with new regulations restricting visitor movement within the country. The government now requires all tourists to be accompanied by state-assigned guides at all times, and access to major cities and landmarks has become even more limited. According to the latest figures, foreign arrivals dropped to approximately 200,000 in 2023, down from 1 million in 2019, reflecting a collapse in interest. The regime's focus on controlling the narrative and monitoring tourist activity has deterred even seasoned adventure travelers. In addition, political tensions and fears of diplomatic incidents have led several Western countries to issue strong travel advisories against visiting North Korea. Economic sanctions and international isolation have also impacted the country's ability to provide even minimal hospitality standards to visitors. The tightly controlled, highly surveilled environment removes any sense of spontaneity or authentic experience, making North Korea one of the least welcoming tourist destinations today. 4. Belarus. Political unrest and international isolation. Tourism in Belarus has suffered a steep decline since the disputed 2020 presidential election and the ensuing government crackdown on protests. The Belarusian National Statistical Committee reported a 60% decrease in tourist arrivals in 2023 compared to pre-2020 numbers. Western sanctions imposed by the European Union and United States have led to increased international isolation. Visitors now face heightened scrutiny at border crossings and in hotels, with reports of harassment and arbitrary questioning on the rise. The government's repression of dissent, media censorship, and frequent internet blackouts have created a tense atmosphere for both locals and foreigners. Major cultural events and festivals that once drew international crowds have been cancelled or heavily restricted. Many travel agencies have stopped offering packages to Belarus, and several international airlines have suspended flights to Minsk, further discouraging tourism. 5. Syria. Ongoing conflict and humanitarian crisis. Syria's tourism sector remains in near total collapse due to the civil war and humanitarian disaster that have gripped the country for over a decade. The United Nations reported in 2024 that more than 14 million Syrians are in need of humanitarian aid, and the country's infrastructure is devastated. Tourist arrivals are almost non-existent, with the few foreign visitors consisting mainly of journalists and aid workers. The U.S. State Department and most Western foreign offices continue to advise against all travel, warning of the risks of violence, kidnapping, and arbitrary detention. Historic sites like Palmyra and Aleppo, once world-renowned destinations, have been damaged or destroyed, and access is severely restricted. Hotels and tour operators have closed down en masse, and insurance companies refuse to cover travel to Syria. The ongoing instability and security threats have rendered Syria an effectively closed destination for leisure tourists. 6. Russia. Geopolitical tensions and travel restrictions. Russia's international tourism sector has dramatically contracted since the escalation of the conflict in Ukraine. The Russian Tourism Agency reported a 40% decline in foreign visitors in 2024 compared to 2021, with numbers continuing to fall due to ongoing sanctions. Many Western countries have issued strong travel advisories, and major airlines have halted direct flights to Moscow and St. Petersburg. The Russian government has responded with stricter visa requirements and new bureaucratic hurdles for foreign visitors, further discouraging travel. International credit cards no longer work in Russia, complicating everyday transactions for tourists. Political tensions have also led to incidents of harassment and detention of foreign nationals. Cultural events and festivals that once attracted international crowds have been cancelled or scaled down, and the overall climate for foreigners is increasingly hostile. 7. Myanmar. Political instability and human rights violations. Myanmar's tourism industry has collapsed following the military coup in 2021 and ongoing civil unrest. According to United Nations data from 2024, international tourist arrivals have fallen by 80%, with only a trickle of visitors in the past year. The country has experienced widespread violence, arbitrary detentions, and severe restrictions on freedom of movement. Numerous governments, including the United States and members of the European Union, have issued travel warnings or outright bans on tourism to Myanmar. Human rights organizations continue to document abuses, further damaging the country's reputation among potential visitors. Major attractions such as Bagan and Inle Lake are now difficult or dangerous to access, with many hotels and tour businesses shuttered. The risk of being caught in political violence makes Myanmar a high-risk destination, and travelers are increasingly seeking safer alternatives in Southeast Asia. 8. Iran. Sanctions and hostility towards foreigners. Iran has seen a marked decline in tourism, with the Iranian Cultural Heritage, Handicrafts and Tourism Organization reporting a 50% drop in international tourist arrivals in 2023 compared to 2019 figures. Ongoing international sanctions have crippled the country's economy and hampered the availability of quality services for visitors. Reports of arbitrary detention, harassment, and surveillance of foreign nationals have increased, leading the U.S. State Department and other foreign ministries to maintain strict travel warnings. The political climate, including recent protests and government crackdowns, has made Iran seem unwelcoming to outsiders. Many popular tourist sites, such as Persepolis and Isfahan, have experienced a sharp fall in foreign visitors. The lack of international flights and banking restrictions further complicates travel logistics, pushing tourists toward neighboring countries with more stable environments.